every disease start with our body's smallest unit, cell. Okay. So today we will discuss about the pathology of the cell. My screen is visible.
Yes.
The chances are visible, not
Yes, visible. Yes, visible.
Visible?
Yes, sir. We are. Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
The directory display is visible.
sir, we are able to see all the files.
Pardon?
We are able to see all the files.
Okay. Now you are able to see presentation. My
Not yet.
No. You
PPT.
have to click. Yeah, you
Not
have
yet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You can see.
Now it is okay.
Yes, sir. We can.
Yes, sir.
Huda, sir. Huda, sir.
Yes.
I want to just make it sure whether I understood so far. So last class we had some disturbances, so I was not very sure. So we were trying to find out which organ is hypo, and we have to treat that organ. Is that the short summary form, sir?
Yes. It is a better way. Find out the hypofunction organs
Okay.
and tonify to that organ. This is the best way of the treatment.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. What is pathology? Pathology is the study of disease by scientific methods. The word pathology came from the Latin word patho and logy. Patho means disease. Patho means disease, and logy means study. Therefore, pathology is a scientific study of disease. It focuses on the structural, biochemical, and functional changes in the cell, tissue, and organs in disease. In pathology, we focused on the structural, biochemical, and functional changes in the cells, and cells become tissue and tissue becomes stone, organs. Okay. So we focus in the changes of the cell in the disease. That in particular disease, what are the changes in this cell? Branches of the pathology are general pathology, systemic pathology, general pathology is concerned with the basic reaction of the cell and tissue to abnormal stimuli that underlie all diseases. And systematic pathology examine the specific responses of the specialized organ and tissue to more or less well-defined stimuli. Okay. And the techniques we use molecular techniques, microbiologic techniques, immunologic technique, and morphologic techniques. So, is it your fault getting sick? The patient's own fault for having sinned, or the effect of outside agents such as bad smell, cold, evil spirits. Two major classes of etiologic factors. One is the genetic factor and second is the acquired factor. Genetic factor we get from our parents, and acquired factors we get from our atmosphere and where we are located and which area and which type of attitude we are living on, high attitude, low attitude. So these factors are called acquired factors. So these two factors effects on our etiologies. One is the genetic factor and second one is the acquired factors. So first on our etiology, two factors. One is sometimes genetic factor and sometimes the acquired factor. Then pathogenesis, interference in our body, and then morphological and molecular changes in our body. Then clinical manifestation. So clinical manifestation is there. Okay. Clinical manifestation is the last stage. Okay. When we feel that we are ill. Okay. But this process start from a long time before. Okay. So etiology of the disease means the cause of the disease. If the cause of the disease is known, it is called primary etiology. If the cause is known. If the cause of the disease is unknown, it is called idiopathic cause. So there are two major classes of etiologic factor. Number one, genetic factor, and second is the acquired factor. So what are the acquired factor? Acquired factors are infections, nutritions, chemical, and physical factors. And the genetic factors we get from our parents. So pathogenesis means the mechanism through which the cause operates to produce the pathological and clinical manifestation or structural and functional abnormalities. Okay. So pathogenesis means the mechanism through which the cause operates produce the pathological and clinical manifestation of structural and functional abnormalities. And the incubation period, the time between the exposure to the virus and or bacteria and the appearance of the symptoms. That is called incubation period. morphological changes. The morphological changes refers to the structural alterations in the cell or tissue that occur following the pathogenetic mechanism. The structural changes in the organ can be seen with the naked eye, or they may only be seen under the microscope. Gross morphological changes and microscopic changes. Clinical manifestation. The morphologic changes in the organ influence the normal function of the organ. By doing so, they determine the clinical features, symptoms and signs, course and prognosis of the disease. So, in this stage, you consult with patient, or patient comes to you in this stage. That stage is the clinical manifestation stage. Okay. So, there are 2 or 3 steps behind this clinical manifestation stage. Okay. So, that's why in 5 element, we did not work on these clinical manifestations. We work on the cause. Like that, cellular response to stress and toxins. Cell injury and cell death. What is the cell injury and what is the cell death? What is the cell injury? If the cell fail to adapt under the stress, they undergo certain changes called cell injury. If the cell fail to adapt under stress, they undergo certain changes that is called cell injury. And there are 2 types of the cell injury. One type is the reversible cell injury. Actually, daily there is our cell injury in our body. Okay, but some cells injuries are reversible and some are irreversible cell injury. The effect cell may recover from the injury, that is called reversible, or if the cell die, that is called irreversible. Cause of the cell injury, cause of the cell injury may be 2 types. One is the genetic and second one is the acquired. Acquired may be virus, bacteria, nutrition, food, or atmosphere. There are many causes of the acquired cell injury. So, in genetic, developmental, cytogenetic, and single gene. And acquired cause, O2 deprivations, physical agents, chemical agents, infections, immunologic reactions, genetic derangements, and nutrition imbalances. Okay. So, O2 deprivation, physical agents, chemical agents, infections, immunologic reaction, genetic derangement, and nutritional imbalances. O2 deprivation. O2 deprivation is the hypoxia, the deficiency of the oxygen, which cause cell injury by reducing aerobic oxidative respiration. Hypoxia is an extremely important and common cause of the cell injury and cell death. Causes of the hypoxia include reduced blood flow and cell ischemia, and inadequate oxygenation due to the cardiorespiratory failure, decreased oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, as in anemia after severe blood loss. This O2 deprivation, according to our 5 element concept or five organs, okay. If your liver is, sorry, if your lungs is not working properly, it may be the O2 deprivation. If there is low hemoglobin in the body, there may be oxygen deprivation. For the low hemoglobin in the body, mainly 3 organs are responsible. Your kidney is responsible, your liver is responsible, and your spleen is responsible. Okay, and for the circulation of the blood, because blood carries the oxygen. So circulation of the blood may be a cause of the O2 depression. So this for this circulation, your heart is responsible. So in this slide, we can understand that for O2 deprivation, only O2 deprivation, we have to find out that what is the cause behind this O2 deprivation. When we will find out the cause, we will work it, and oxygen level will be complete. Next is the physical agents. Physical agents are capable to the cell injury, maybe some mechanical trauma and burning, extreme of temperature or radiations. These are the accidental or physical agents. And some chemical agents, poisons, arsenic, or some other poisonous chemical. Okay. And next one is the infection agents. Infection agents, the SKTC, bacteria, fungi, higher forms of parasites. So these are the infections agent. Okay. And in our body, our spleen and our kidney works against this infectious agents. Okay. Especially our liver works against this infection agent. So we have to find out that is our liver is weak or what the cause of this infection. And immunologic reaction. Okay. So it may be autoimmunity or hypersensitivity. Genetic dearrangement. Nutritional imbalances, nutritional deficiencies or nutritional excess. So the injury of cell summary may be O2 deprivation. So the most important part, okay, if O2 is less in your body, that condition cell injury start. The second is the physical agents, chemical agents, infectious agent, immunologic reactions, genetic rearrangements, and nutritional imbalances. Now, what is the morphological alterations in the cell injury? Swelling of the cell and its organelles, bleeding of the plasma membrane, detachment of ribosomes from the ER, and clamping of nuclear chromatin, loss of the cell membrane integrity, defects in protein synthesis, cytoskeletal damage, and DNA damage. So, reversible in reversible cell injury, cell swelling, acute and mild, fatty changes, hypoxia, and fatty liver. Cell death, for every cell, there is a time to live and time to die. There is a cycle of the cell. Okay. Every cell dead at a time, and some time or some cells are reversible and some death is irreversible. Clinical death is the reversible transmission between the life and biological death. Clinical death is defined as the period of respiratory, circulatory, and brain arrest during which initiation of resuscitation can lead to recovery. Biological death, which sets after the clinical death, is an irreversible state of circular destruction. It manifests the irreversible section of the circulatory and respiratory function, or irreversible uh, cessation of all function of the entire brain, including the brain stem, or irreversible cell, the necrosis or apoptosis. Okay. There are two stages of the irreversible cell injury. One is the necrosis and second one is the apoptosis. So necrosis means the cell death, and premature death of cell in living tissues. In necrosis, excess fluid enters the cell, swell it and rupture its membrane, which kills it after the cell has died. Intracellular degradative reactions occur within a living organism. Maximum necrosis is due to excess water in the body, or in an average adult human, between 50 billion and 70 billion cells die of are replaced every day. But necrosis refers to the cell death that is unprogrammed and results from a typical body conditions such as infections, cancer, senior injuries, the presence of venom, and severe inflammation and variety of the diseases. Necrosis, how it happens. Okay, so when there is a poor hydro, there is more hydrosulfuric acid in the body, or sorry, in the cell. Okay. And in this condition, there are inflammations in the cell, and cell membrane ruptured, and it is called necrosis. Necrosis does not occur in dead organism. In dead organism, autolysis and heterolysis take place. The brown Riculase spider, whose bite can cause necrosis lesion up to the 10 inches, 25 centimeter in diameter. Morphological changes in the necrosis. The necrotic cells show increased eosinophilia, have a more glassy, homogeneous appearance than do normal cells, mainly as a result of the loss of glycogen particles. The cytoplasm become vacuolated and appear mothrated. Dead cells may be replaced by a large myelin figures. The dead cells may ultimately become classified. Types of the necrosis. The types of the necrosis include the coagulative necrosis, liquefactive necrosis, fat necrosis, caseous necrosis, and gangrenous necrosis. Morphological patterns of the necrosis. Coagulative necrosis is a type of accidental cell death, typically caused by the ischemia or infraction. In coagulative necrosis, the architecture of the dead tissue is preserved for at least a couple of days. A localized area of the coagulative necrosis is called an infract. And liquefactive necrosis or colliquative necrosis is a type of necrosis which results in a transformation of the tissue into a liquid viscous mass. Is seen in focal bacteria or occasionally fungal infections. The necrotic material is frequently creamy yellow because of the presence of dead leukocytes, and it is called pus. From unknown reasons, hypoxic death of the cell within the central nervous system often manifests as liquefied necrosis. Gangrenous necrosis, it is usually applied to a limb, generally the lower leg, that it has lost its blood supply and has undergone necrosis, typically coagulative necrosis. When bacterial infection is superimposed, there is some liquefactive necrosis because of the action of degenerative enzymes in the bacteria and the attract the leukocytes, giving rise so-called wet gangrene. Nuclear changes, karyolysis, a change of the pre-assembly reflects loss of DNA because of enzymatic degeneration by endonucleases, and iconosis characterized by a nuclear shrinkage and increased basophil. The chromatin condense into a solid shrunken basophilic mass, and karyoresis, the iconotic nucleus undergoes the fragmentation. And apoptosis, it is a type of cell death which helps to eliminate unwanted cells and internally suicide program. Series of events affected by the dedicated gene products. Apoptosis is death of single cell with clusters of other cells. Apoptotic, apoptotic cell break up into the fragment cell that is called apoptotic bodies, which contain portions of the cytoplasm and nucleus. The plasma membrane of apoptotic cell and bodies remain intact, but its structure is altered in such a way that these become tasty targets for the phagocytes. When a cell is completed to commit suicide, proteins called caspases go into action. They break down the cellular components need for survival. Apoptosis is not followed by the inflammation or calcification. Example, the resorption of the tadpole tail at the time of its metamorphosis into a frog occurs by apoptosis. The fermentation of the fingers and toes of the fetus required the removal by apoptosis of the tissue between them. The slogging of the inner lining of the uterus, the endometrium, at the start of menstrual occurs by the apoptosis. Of the apoptosis occurs normally both during the development and throughout adulthood and severe and serves to eliminate unwanted eggs or potentially harmful cells. It is also a pathogenic event when the disease cells become damaged behind the repair and are eliminated. Here, these types of the necrosis. Necrosis is the cell death. These cell death, these types of the necrosis are because of the different organs. There are the 5 organs in our body. So sometimes the necrosis is because of the liver, sometimes necrosis is because of the kidney, sometimes necrosis is because of the heart, sometimes necrosis is because of the spleen, and sometimes necrosis is because of the lungs. So for this purpose, we try to find out that which organ is not working properly. What is the organ function? Organ function is to contribute or produce the to contribute, especially to contribute in the chemical reactions in the body. Okay, so necrosis happens when the chemical imbalances in the cell. Okay, if the cell is more acidic, then in that condition necrosis happens. If there are normal oxygen or all the chemicals are balanced, then the cell will be less acidic, or cell will be a neutral pH, not alkalic or not acidic. Okay, then cell will be normal or cell will be okay. For the necrosis, if the acid is more in the cell, or the nature is the nature of the fluid is acidic, then cell will die. Okay, and this stage is called necrosis. So for this necrosis, only organ is not responsible. There are these 5 organs are responsible. So we have to find out that for that this particular necrosis, which organ is responsible. Okay. Like that, if there is pus formation in the body, okay. Pus formation is also a type of necrosis. Okay. So pus is the dead cell. So it's a type of necrosis. For the pus formation, your liver is responsible. So in that case, we treat to liver. Okay. So like that, we think or we find out that what is the cause and which organ is responsible for this kind of necrosis. Intracellular accumulation. accumulation of abnormal amount of the various substances due to the manifestation of metabolic rearrangements in the cell. We divide in categories. Okay, normal cellular constituents. Normal cellular constituents are water, lipids, and carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. And abnormal substances are exogenous substances accumulate because the cell can neither degrade the substances nor the ability to transport it other sites. Example, mineral or products of infectious agents. There should be the normal constituents in the cell, like water, lipids, carbon, hydrogen, or oxygen. These all the things should be in a balanced way. However, these 5 organs are responsible for different constituents of the body. So, this 5 element concept, we try to find out that which organ is not giving its proper contributions. That's why we try to find out the deficiency organ or hypofunction organ. Hypofunction organ means the organ is not contributing in the cellular constituents. Endogenous substances that cannot be metabolized because of the deficiency of defect of the enzyme and accumulate in the cell. Example, product of abnormal synthesis or metabolism. Scleroderma, tan or brown pigmentation commonly associated with the pregnancy or the use of oral contraceptive, also called the mask of pregnancy or melasma. Steatosis, fatty changes. The term steatosis and fatty changes describe abnormal accumulation of triglyceride within parenchymal cell. So, this fatty changes is because of the deficiency or hypofunction of the liver. Organ involved and causes. Fatty changes is often seen in the liver because it is the major organ involved in the fat metabolism, but it also occurs in heart, muscles, and the kidney. Disorders with erythrocyte damage. The cause of the steatosis includes toxins, proteins, malnutrition, alcohol, and anorexia. Disorder with hyperlipidemia, the diabetes mellitus, and obesity. So, for balancing a cell, we should maintain or we should balance the chemical constituents of the body. For balancing the chemical constituents, for these 5 organs or these 5 elements are responsible. If any organ is working in hypo condition or hyper condition, there will be chemical imbalances in the cell, and it may be the cause of the inflammation or cell death. It may be reversible or it may be irreversible. And we can say after the incubation period, we will see the manifestation or of the disease. So in this 5-element technique or in this 5-element tool, we try to find out that because of which organ this chemical imbalancing is occurring. Okay. We try to find out the deficiency organ or hypofunction organ, and we correct it. When we correct the hypofunction organ, we start producing or contributing in the chemical reaction. And, if you patientfully treat the patient, or if you have the experience, you can take the patient. Otherwise, you say that, sir, today I give the medicine and it is not giving the result. Okay, but if the patientfully, if you treat to the hypofunctioning organ, definitely within a few days, and in some cases 1 week or 2 weeks, definitely you will get results. Okay. So, any question?
On oxygen deprivation that you are mentioning, that we need to see whether lungs is affected by spleen or by kidney or by liver. What are the symptoms we need to see which might be the real reason for oxygen deprivation?
Yes, oxygen deficiency may be due
Yes.
to many organs. No?
Okay.
Oxygen deficiency may be because of lungs, because of kidney, because of
Yes.
liver,
Yes.
because of spleen,
Yeah.
because of heart. Okay. So then, in that condition,
Heart.
for the oxygen deficiency, hypoxia, okay, or O2 deprivation, how I
Yeah.
can fix a single formula? Is it possible?
No, we need to see.
Nandan sir, today you are not able to speak.
Exhibited
Major cracks in your voice.
each other.
Nandan sir, your voice is not proper. We can't listen. We can't listen.
Takes time, but I'm listening.
We can't listen you. Your voice is breaking. Hina?
And then, sir, you can express your anything on chat box. You can try on chat box.
Yes, yes. Maybe a good idea. Ina? Ina madam, Francis?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I am listening.
Your
There's
concept is clear?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah.
Why we are working on 5 element? How 5 element is important?
In order to balance the cell, the imbalance in the
Balance the cell, or if there are any manifestation, disease manifestation, okay, but what is the cause of this disease, internal cause, and what are the chemical changes in the organ, and which in the blood of which organ is responsible for this particular chemical changes, okay, because the biggest laboratory of the chemistry is our body. Our body is the biggest chemical laboratory. There are thousands and thousands of the chemical reactions in a daily. Okay. So the disease, illness manifestation or pathological manifestation is just a symptom, sir. And every symptoms is, for example, cough is a symptoms. Okay. But this cough may be because of the lungs, maybe because of the kidney, maybe because of the liver, maybe because of the heart, maybe because of the spleen. We have to find out that what kind of cough is and which organ is responsible for that cough. One month before, one lady came to my clinic office, and there was some cyst in whole body. And past 5 years, she was taking treatment, and some allopathic doctors gave her tuberculosis treatment. And there was severe itching in his cyst, and sometime these cysts automatically increase, and sometime these cysts was decreasing. And the major problem was the itching, severe itching in the cyst, and fever was there. I take the history. I started the treatment. And first week, there was no changes. And she complained me, sir, there are no changes, and you told that you can do something, and already I am taking this treatment from a long time. Okay, so all the things are same. She was disappointed, but again I consult and I said no problem, and definitely you will get relief. Same medicine I gave him next time. Next time there was 20% or 10% or 20% relief. And there was a complaint of fever with shivering. Okay. So when after 1 week when she came, so there was only 2 times shivering in a week, and earlier there was daily shivering with fever with shivering. Okay. Not 2 times in a week only. Second week there was 20% relief, and third week I think it was 30 or 40% relief. And same medication. Today, I followed her. Okay, give him for 15 days medicine. Today, approximately 80 to 90% relief. All the symptoms and all the cysts are disappear, and skin is normal, no itching, no fever, no shivering.
What was the duration? What was the duration for all these days, sir, for 80% cure?
Duration, third time I gave medicine today. So third time is 3 weeks.
Oh,
Today I gave him medicine for 15 days. So 1 month before.
okay.
If you have confidence, or if you treat the patient according to the hypofunction organ, definitely patient will get relief. 100% patient will get relief. I am too confident. Shankar, how are you?
Sir, fine, sir.
But you missed all the classes, Shankar.
Sorry, sir, I was busy on other works, so I can't attend the previous classes.
How you will recover?
Yes, fine, sir.
How you will recover?
I get the previous videos from previous recordings.
Recordings
And also
are
planning
not,
when you are
recordings
conducted.
are not too helpful.
Sir, yes, sir.
Recordings are helpful, but are
Yes.
not too helpful. Okay.
So I am always planning when you are conducted classes. I am attending continuously.
Okay. No problem. Okay.
Yes.
You can
Sir.
come in doubt session.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Doubt session is daily,
Sir.
Friday, Monday to Thursday.
Sir.
Yeah, morning 8 to 9.
Sure, sir.
Okay. You can
Okay.
come and ask the question. Okay. And
okay, sir.
Second thing, we will give you an opportunity. Okay. When we will start next class.
Sir.
Okay. For other people. Okay. You can join for the revision.
Sure, sir.
So 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. When you want, you can come. Okay.
Yes,
please try to learn this theory. This theory is very, very helpful in the practice.
Yeah, in the morning also we are discussing about the previous classes with my sir, Dr. B.S. Prasad sir, and also colleague Madhukar.
Really, we have doubt session. Okay. So you can learn their small things.
Sir.
And after collecting the small things, you can go yourself.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Bina, do you have any question?
Okay, thank you, sir.
No, sir. No question.
You are outside?
No, sir. Me?
Yeah, you are at home or outside?
I'm at home, sir. I'm at home.
Your video is off now, so I thought you are outside.
Okay. I'm at home.
Francis, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why you are silent?
No, we had all of a sudden some guests, and that's why, it was a real disturbance. We couldn't focus on the class today. We are sorry that it happened, but then all of a sudden somebody came in. We couldn't focus on study. That's the reason why we are silent. Your observation is correct, sir. But
okay, no problem. So today we will
Hello, sir.
Yes, Suyata.
Sir, you told different types of necrosis, no, sir?
Yes. There are different type of necrosis. There are 5 types of the necrosis.
So, according to the elements, can you please tell, sir, which type of necrosis due to which organ disturbance?
Suyata,
Gangrenous necrosis, hepatic
we are
necrosis.
unable to hear you.
Sir, 5 types of necrosis you told, no, sir?
Yes.
According to the organ, which organ is related to which necrosis? Is there any relation like that, sir?
Yes, there are relation.
Yeah, there are 5 types of
Type
necrosis.
yes,
you told,
which
no?
type of the necrosis is related to the which organ?
Which organ?
Yes.
You told pus formation is because of the, most of the time
Liver.
it is because of the liver.
Yeah.
So similarly, all different types of necrosis, any
Yes.
organ.
Yes,
specific organ.
gangrene are related to the heart. Today, about this class or this course syllabus is over. If you have
Yes.
any doubt or anything, you can put in group, or if whoever required, we can arrange some other more classes or more sessions for the doubts. Okay. So if you
Yes.
have any doubt, you can put these doubts in the group. Okay. We require, we can arrange a separate session. Okay. And when we will start new session for this 5-element session, okay. You all can join for the revision without any fee.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So nice of you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
doctor. Very nice initiative.
Any questions, Sarda?
Sir, can I discuss my condition?
Yes.
Sir, 1 week back, I wanted to scan. They said you have severe IUG, growth, baby growth was very low.
Baby growth was?
Very low, sir. 27 weeks baby was 1 kg, but your baby was only 727 grams. They said that, sir. Then what I have to do, sir?
And time, duration?
27 weeks.